we can see this is the HDB resale price index over the last 24 years. In this period, HDB was actually very stable, stagnant, no price increase. But from 2007, HDB actually increased very, very sharply, all the way up to 2011. It increased 100% in price. And if for those of you who can remember, this is the period of time whereby there was a lot of unhappiness in the ground. And when the election was coming, what happened? Workers' Party actually won the alternate GRC. This was the first time a opposition party actually won a GRC. And a lot of the debate on the ground was because of the high property prices. And as a result, we can see the last few years before the election, HDB was increasing at a very, very rapid rate. Most of the years, it was at the double-digit growth. And hence, our Minister for National Development actually stepped down after the election. Right? And they changed to our favorite solve-it-all minister, Koh Boon Wan. First thing, if you realize that the election was actually somewhere in May 2011, this minister stepped down in May 2011, and this new minister that went up to take over was also May 2011. And the first thing he said, ramp up the building of flats. And you can see it took a bit of time, but immediately from 2013 onwards, HDB started to either increase at a slower rate or actually the price actually came down. So if you look back here, this was the Koh Boon Wan period whereby HDB actually came down. Right? Of course, after that, it went to Lawrence Wong, which was stable. Maybe that's why he became the Prime Minister, right? And from 2020, something of course happened that caused the resale price index to go up again. And that everybody know is COVID. And you can see the rise this period is already at about 42%, about the halfway mark of 100%. Don't you think this seems like a repeat of what has already happened previously, whereby a lot of people right now are complaining of the high HDB prices? So will government actually allow this thing to repeat itself again? Definitely not. So what the new Minister of National Development is doing, government will do what is necessary to ensure affordable public housing for Singaporeans. And they want to launch 100,000 flats from 2021 to 2025. And now we are in 2024. HDB is launching about 19,600 BTO flats, and they are still on track to offer 100,000 flats from 2021 to 2025. Right now, HDB is launching about 20,000 per year. But prior to COVID, HDB is only launching 16 to 17,000 a year. Are we not seeing a repeat of what's happening here, whereby HDB is trying to stagnate the price over here? Right? So if you're holding on to HDB, again, is there a possibility that eventually you can reach the price of $2 million? Of course, nobody knows at this point in time, but all the signs point towards quite unlikely that government will allow this to happen. So what HDB can do is that it can affect BTO prices, right? By introducing more BTO, more subsidy, prime flats, plus flats, and so on. If the BTO flat was launched at, let's say, 500,000 for 5-room, in the same area, units are asking for 1.2 million for a 5-room. Is it possible that people will be willing to pay 700K for this gap, right? When they can easily rent for 3 years, 4 years, and it will not even cost them 700K. So for HDB, the resale prices are generally controlled by the BTO prices. If government want to release much cheaper BTO, resale prices will tend to be dragged down by the price. And we can see that HDB is actually losing money, $5.38 billion in 2022, just to ensure that public housing is affordable. Right? All your BTO houses or even HDB that receive certain grants from governments, all these are subsidized housing. And HDB is actually trying all it can to keep HDB affordable, which is what it was meant to be in the first place. So on the other hand, we can see the difference between HDB and condo is that condo new launches are always higher price than resale. Why is this so? All these subsidies all these 5.38 billion losses it has to come from somewhere. So one of the areas that can come back from is, of course, your government land sales, stamp duty, and this and that. So it will only make sense when the new launches are launched higher price than your resale. And as a result, it actually helps to drag the resale prices up. So if you go back to the first chart, it is much more likely that the new launch that are launching higher will allow you to achieve your resale prices at this price than your HDB being able to achieve $2 million, because new BTOs are not going to be launching at $1 million or $1.5 million. The government simply cannot allow that to happen. Okay. So let's see, which is the growth of resale HDB and resale condos over the past 20 years. We can see that HDB has grown about 158% in 20 years. And most of it was during the period whereby before the election of 2011 and as well as COVID. Otherwise, prior to that, right, it was actually quite stagnant. But you can see that private property has actually increased by 260%, which is almost 100% more than HDB. And throughout the years, other than the financial crisis at this period of time, because of the cooling measures that were implemented in 2013, generally prices have been going up. There are certain quarters of up and down, but generally the pricing have been going up. So in this case, I just want to maybe remind again, which is a better route if you want to end up back at this 3-room HDB at 1.4 million. Is it just to hold on all the way? Or is it that we can go through one channel, do a bit of forced savings, and then come back to the same ending point, but be $1.6 to $2 million richer than what we could get with HDB, right? Thank you, and I hope that this has helped you in making a decision to upgrade to private property.